All right. Okay. It is 6:31. I will call to order the meeting of the Environmental Commission for the date of May the 4th, 2022. Next, we can have roll call.
Okay. Okay, so for roll call, Commissioner Nadine Gillis-Ward, Commissioner Lillian Hobson,
Present.
Commissioner William Coons,
Here.
Commissioner Freeman Watkins,
Here.
Commissioner Angela Isaiah Payne,
Present.
Commissioner Hurry Taylor,
Present.
Commissioner Rick Polito,
Here.
Commissioner Roy Love,
Here.
Commissioner Brianna Fonteno.
Present.
Okay. And alternate Celia Valapondo.
Here.
Okay. We have one absent and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 present. We have quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you very much. Item number 3, the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have any volunteers?
I'll read it.
Well, go ahead, sir.
That was Lillian Hobson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Lillian, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lillian. My apologies.
So we place our hand over our hearts again. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Hobson. Next item number 4, introduction and presentations. It's my understanding we have a new environmental commissioner, Brianna Fontenot. Ms. Fontenot, are you present?
Yes, I'm present.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Environmental Commission. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, I'm fine. Would you like to take just a couple of minutes to introduce yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Brianna Fonteno. I lived in Carson basically all my life. I just want to I'm sorry, I can't show my my face because I'm at work right now.
No problem.
Yeah, I just want to just make sure like Carson is a better place. I have worked in an environmental industry for like 4 years as a dispatcher. So yeah, I just want to make sure this Carson is a better, clean, unpolluted place. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Well, welcome. We're looking forward to working with you, okay?
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Hola, congratulations, welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
This is Commissioner Coons.
Yes.
I think last month's meeting, did we give Mr. Love, Commissioner Love, a chance for him to introduce himself? I think his internet was not working or Zoom was not working or something at the beginning, but my memory is not so clear on this. Did we give him a chance to introduce himself?
I think you're absolutely correct. There was a problem with the connection. So Mr. Love, sir, would you like to take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself to those that don't know you?
Okay.
And those that do.
Right. I'm Roy Love, and of course, I've been living here since, frankly, 1964. And in that process, I was involved in of course, when we wanted to establish the city of Carson and in a number of other areas previously, I have served on the Environmental Commission and also on the Human Relations Commissions and the Economic Development Commission. I've been away though for about 7 years, and currently I sit on a board at Metropolitan Service Council. And I love the city of Carson, the people in Carson, and I'm just happy to be here and to try to do all that we can to make sure that this continues to be one of the better cities in this country. That's good enough for now, I think.
Thank you, sir, and welcome back.
We're glad to be back.
Yes. Welcome back to both. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 5, public and oral communications. Do we have any, staff?
No, I didn't receive any emails or phone calls or voice message for public oral communication.
Thank you. Item 6, consent calendar. The approval of minutes for April the 6th. I hope everybody has a copy. Can we pull up the minutes? So if you don't, if there's no copy, we can review them and move forward.
Does everybody see this, my screen?
Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
With the minutes, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, can I go first?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I would first like to comment on the votes in the minutes. The votes are being given ayes and then noes and abstentions, but there's no summary of the result. Now, in our case, I mean, they're passing overwhelmingly, so you know they passed, but I would like to see them put an amount. The ayes have it, 5 ayes, 1 no, and 1 abstention as a summary. So now that's not a mandatory thing, but that's what I would like to see that after the commissioners' names are listed. For example, in item number 1, consent minutes, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ayes, 1 no, and 0 abstention. 1 abstention. Love was not commissioner at that time. And then motion passes 7 to 1 to 1, or something like that. Motion passes, or something like that. I would like to see a statement of it. Did it pass? Did it fail? And by what amount? It does not have to change at this time, but in the future. Now, on item number 3, there's questions, and questions, but then there's just a little summary of what the sheriff said. But in some cases, he answered these questions also. So that's not very well written up, in my opinion. The questions, you know, I would like to have seen the questions listed and then the answer given and by whom, et cetera, et cetera. I think that would have been better than the way it was done. The questions are there, and in some cases, the questions were never answered.
Mr. Coons, I think that would be very, very labor intensive. Staff is taking notes. It's a summary. It's not going to be verbatim.
Mr. Chair, may I speak for a moment? This is a commissioner.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
I think perhaps at times there are things that we need to possibly table to discuss. Commissioner Coons may have some concerns that we do need to address. However, I think that there needs to be something stated prior to our meetings where we're not dissecting the entire document and or the work that has been done by the staff. I think that is something that we could possibly discuss. Mr. Coons' concerns, I think that's something that we should discuss, but I think that should be a working discussion where we agree to disagree what's going to appear in the minutes and what's not. I know in the past on other commissions that I've served on, everything that is always verbalized is not always annotated, and sometimes it's summarized on the staff's discretion.
Right.
I concur. I think, Mr. Coons, let me make a suggestion. Let's review the notes in terms of their correctness. It is a summary, and maybe at a later date, we can, anyway, that's what's just stated, we can go back and discuss format, what needs to be in and what doesn't need to be in the minutes.
Right. I like
as
to
opposed
see
to
yes.
As opposed to dialoguing this now.
Right. Right. These were exactly what you said, suggestions, mostly for the future, because this would be hard to go back and redo, I'm sure. Okay. So, but I move that we approve the minutes.
Hold on, I have a couple questions, Mr. Chair, if I may add, please. I'll second that, but with the discussion, right?
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So my only thing is I've been on commission for over 30 years, like Mr. Love, and you know, when we ask for minutes, we don't ask for, you know, a dissertation or anything. Don't get me wrong. Planning was a little heavier for us, of course, because it's a, you know, a body with quasi, and it's you know, it's a legal matters a lot of times on that body, so they have to be detailed. But there are some things that can be done that I think Mr. Kuhn was alluding to. We could get to another day, perhaps, but there's nothing wrong with that. We're not asking for nothing more than a little bit more, you know, detail or preciseness on some of the pertinent points. There's a couple that I need to correct or add additions to on these minutes. On my statement for for Eliza, for example, or Director Eliza James, I said we'd like to have a thorough report. For example, the report she gave to City Council, her PowerPoint was very effective, very good that week before our meeting or day before our meeting that last month. And I just wanted that in the minutes that I feel that, you know, a director always gives an update. They always give a report on upcoming EIRs, upcoming projects, perhaps, giving us a heads up on what's coming down the path in our commission. And a director should always give some type of brief, if you will, on, you know, what's going on in the department. And I asked for a comprehensive, so I want it in the record, I asked for a comprehensive report on the trees that, you know, we're down 2,000 trees in District 2, for example. And I asked about, you know, that when the project's going to be updated, the beautification part of that project, and also the slurries for the south, specifically over here, Gulf Avenue, which I've been talking about. And it's an eyesore, and it's part of our environmental commission to make sure our residents, we had a block club meeting, and they were perturbed. They said, Rick, so when are they going to do our slurry as an example? Wait, I'm almost
wait
finished.
A minute, sir. You're getting too lengthy. There are other commissioners.
Yeah, there's a 3-minute. We should
okay, well, I haven't finished my 3rd minute. Just tell me when it's 3 minutes. Just tell me when it's 3 minutes, and I'll stop.
Well,
if that's the case.
Go ahead, sir. Finish.
All right.
Finish. You have one more item. Come on.
Listen. All you have to do, team, is tell us when it's 3 minutes, and then we know or 30 seconds, and we stop. Don't let me go on unless you guys don't want to hear this. But for me, from our community, they want to know these things for our environment here.
Sir, let me say one thing. First of all, we discussed this last week. Slurry seal has nothing to do with the environmental condition.
Yes, it is. I beg to differ. Okay, that's my opinion. Okay, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me, please. Don't interrupt me. I just want to say slurry seals, tree trimming, that is all part of beautification of our city. We never had these problems. Listen, please.
Lana, point of order.
Yes.
We have a motion on the floor, and I think I heard a second.
And I'm discussing it. There's discussion.
Okay, sir, you've exceeded your 3 minutes.
The second.
Okay, but see, I don't appreciate that you interrupted me 3 times.
That's not fair. For the question.
I just wanted for the record that those points be put in the minutes. That's all I asked. Thank you. Put them in the minutes, please.
Is anyone any more discussion? Calling for the question. There's a motion on the floor and seconded to approve the minutes of April 6th. Can we have a voice?
A roll
call.
A roll call vote?
Vote, please.
Yes. Okay. Commissioner Isaiah Payne?
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman Watkins? Commissioner Hurry Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Lillian Hobson?
Yes.
Commissioner Nadine, sorry, she's not present. Commissioner Rick Polito?
No.
Commissioner William Coons?
I'm going to abstain.
Commissioner Roy Love?
Aye.
Commissioner Brianna Fonteno?
Aye.
Alternate Celia Valapondo?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 abstention.
And just so I may, and I apologize for my voice, I still have this terrible throat condition. As a consent calendar item, this would proceed as the item being pulled from the agenda, for review and discussion. But the review of the minutes, aside from accuracy, should not open into a reopener of any of the further deliberations. Now, I do not recall from the former meeting whether the issues raised by Commissioner Polito were part of really the minutes for this part of the new business item, or if they were part of the future agenda items. My recollection was that they were part of the future agenda items, so perhaps they may be addressed again, but at the future agenda item portion as opposed to the consent calendar portion of this agenda. But again, whether it's future agenda items or whether it's looking at the minutes, we need to avoid going down the path of having deliberations upon items that are not directly listed on the agenda.
Thank you, Lana. Chair Taylor, may I also make a suggestion from staff?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
If any of the commissioners have any issues with the minutes, you are welcome to redline them and send it back to us for clarification.
Okay,
that's
fair.
And also, Rita, if I recall correctly, we're now putting the full video of the commission meetings onto the website, correct?
Correct. They're all posted.
So to the extent, it is absolutely not typical to have a verbatim recital of the minutes or transcript of the minutes. If anybody wants to review the actual meeting, the full meeting is completely available on the city's website.
Thank you very much, Lee. All right, any more questions about minutes on the website or any issues regarding the minutes?
This is Commissioner Isaiah Payne. I'd like to thank staff for that reminder. I think sometimes we forget that it is available the entire session. So thank you for the reminder.
Thank you very much. Next item. Item 7, continued or unfinished business. There's none. Item 8, new business. Item number 2, discussion on fireworks. Under A, recommend the City Council consider additional measures to deter illegal fireworks in the city of Carson. We all received I guess the previous letter, and I think we had discussed making some additions to that and submitting it to the council. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes, you are correct, Mr. Chair.
Is there have we completed the new letter yet, or the updated letter, or however you want to call it?
Sure, I'll take that one, Chair Taylor. The direction from the commission at our last meeting was to resend that letter from 2019, recirculate it, allow the commissioners an opportunity to send comments. Staff did receive comments from Commissioner Polito. Those were an abbreviated version of his comments were included in this updated letter. And so this draft letter is presented to you as just a draft. You're welcome to add or delete things or continue to discuss this item.
Okay, any commissioners, any comments? I recommend we review the letter. That's all right with staff. We review any changes we want to make. We resubmit it, try to come up with some kind of final draft, if we will, and then perhaps submit it as soon as possible following the June meeting.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I would like to comment on the new letter. Now, the new letter in its subject title only says to deter illegal fireworks in the city of Carson. But even in the letter itself, safety and other reasons are given in here not related to illegal fireworks. The safe and sane on page 2, ample. Commission recommends to consider to prevent the use and sale of illegal and ensure the safe use and disposal of legal fireworks. So some of the things we're recommending also refers to legal fireworks, such as debris on the streets from legal fireworks. So this letter is not just about illegal fireworks. This letter is also should be about safe and sane and the issues surrounding all fireworks, safe and sane, as well as the illegal. So I would like the title to change to reflect that. And then a little bit of the wording in it probably should be changed to reflect that also. Am I understandable there?
Well, I have to ask the other commissioners. Is there another comment regarding the letter, the draft letter for fireworks? Mr. Polito, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Real quickly, I think it's the body of the letter is well written. We put in my points in there that we all talked about the other meeting. And I think Commissioner Kuhn has a good point. That's just a title change of adding the safe and sane, as well as, the illegal fireworks in the city. So that possibly we could do tonight. My whole thing is just to expedite, and to be able to do this in a little timely manner, not till June, because they're going to be voting on this, and the city council is going to be probably talking about this in the next meeting and thereafter, maybe the first meeting in June. We might want to, it's pretty well drafted. I mean, I'm in agreement with what I see here, but if there's changes or tweaks, let's do them maybe tonight if you like. We got a minute here. Otherwise, I'd like to see us vote on it and maybe send it out this month sometime. Not today, but let staff tweak it with a few changes that were mentioned, and let's go forward with getting it over to city council and the city manager's office, I think also.
Okay, has everyone reviewed the letter? All the commissioners?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, does anyone else have any comment?
Mr. Chair, I have another comment, not necessarily a recommendation, but I think given the context right now of our drought situation and the discussion already of the extended fire season, I'm wondering if it might not be prudent to approach the council with some type of a review or moratorium on even the safe and sane fireworks. So such time as we have a better handle on the impact of not only on Carson, but the surrounding cities that ban the sale of the safe and sane. I know in the past there was discussion that there was concern that many of the nonprofit groups were thinking that this would somehow stop their efforts for fundraising. But I've seen many different types of fundraising that goes on in the city to kind of limit it to fundraising through the fireworks companies. Yeah, I think that the city can do better than that and could come up with some other alternatives. So I'm not exactly sure how to put this in, but I guess I'm suggesting that we perhaps review the whole policy of having even the safe and sane fireworks.
Okay. Dr. Villapando, you reviewed the letter then?
Yes.
Now, based upon the drought situation and et cetera, could we add a paragraph, maybe even a recommendation? Well, the consideration be given because of the pending drought, the drought we're not pending, but the drought we're in, that they consider that. I would maybe prohibit. I mean, the only thing we can do is request it.
Yeah, I would just like for it to be a little bit more clear, because I think in the past when the discussion has come up, I think even staff jokingly said, some of the nonprofits and the churches are gonna get really feisty with you on this if you're taking away their fundraising efforts. But this isn't about trying to stymie their fundraising efforts. I think we're truly trying to look at the city's environment and kind of the conditions that are going on around us. So if nothing else, at least to consider this. It's not about stealing children's dreams or anything. I think that there are professional fireworks shows, and I think that people are mostly fine with those as well. I think when we get into that realm of the sale around the neighborhood, I think that's where it becomes a little bit more unclear about what's going on with supervision and safety.
Thank you. Commissioner Love, you're next.
Yeah, I would agree with the notion that perhaps the subject definitely needs to be changed and it should be broader. And I would be comfortable with one that asked the council to reconsider our current policy of allowing fireworks in the city of Carson. And I think through that process, they can then, because you've given them alternatives, you've given them reasons, and then it's kind of loose enough where they can go yay or nay or whatever they want to do. But I think it is important because there's not much time between now and the 4th of July situation. And obviously we know constraints have always been with nonprofit groups who want to use this for fundraising. But I guess even with me sitting here in this little town here in Georgia, these people have outlawed fireworks, period. And it's clear that the drought situation we have is so serious that this is a time to consider whether we should be continuing to have fireworks permitted in the city. And of course, all of that could play in with making it also deterring the illegal fireworks and that side. But I think we probably need to look at the entire period. And so in the end, I would say, I think the subject matter should be broad enough so it lets the city council know that this is the time to just look at the entire problem, and then they can do what they want. But I, for one, frankly, would even be in favor of them discontinuing permitting fireworks in this city.
Thank you. Next, yes, ma'am. Commissioner Hobson.
I have a question. I believe the city council sent our request to an ad hoc committee. So have we heard anything from them, or what is the next step? How do we find out if they have addressed this? And if so, if they addressed them, what decision have they arrived at?
Yes, staff, there is an ad hoc fireworks committee. I'm not going to call them a commissioner. Am I correct?
Is this something that was recently?
The letter was supposed to.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Hobson.
Given to an ad hoc committee.
When was that?
That was when we sent the letter a couple of years ago.
Oh, we'll have to look into that. I don't know if that ad hoc committee is active or who's on that ad hoc committee.
I agree with that as well. I just don't know if there was an ad hoc committee formed. And if it was a couple of years ago, it's probably no longer active.
Okay, thank you. Did that answer your question, Ms. Hobson?
Well, I would want to know, once it was given to the committee, what did they come up with? Did they have any answers at all? They should have addressed our concerns.
Are you referring to the letter from 2019?
Yes, that went to the ad hoc committee.
So it was emailed to it was actually emailed to all of the city council members at that time. And there was no, and this is information I received from the prior staff that managed the commission, or was the liaison for the commission, that no formal response was provided back to the commission from the city council, but that the commission took steps to increase the fines. So some of them used to be, I think, $500, and they had increased them to $1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. You had your hand up.
Yes, Lillian Thompson, I forgot her name. She said it correctly. There was an ad hoc committee formed. If I remember right, Jim Deere was on it, and I think Lula was on it. Lula Davis Holmes was on it. So, and it was formed it was formed after this letter. This letter did not generate the ad hoc, but the next year, I think it was ad hoc is what they did because our commission wasn't meeting. So there was an ad hoc committee, and I remember Jim Deere and one others there's two council usually gets on the ad hoc committee. There was one formed to agree with the other commissioner.
Thank you. Well, in terms of expediency, maybe we can reconstruct this letter and let's redo the subject line and maybe add in the recommendation that due to these issues, these measures, these concerns we have, that they consider denying the sale of the safe and sane fireworks, in addition to deterring illegal fireworks in the city. And then add a couple of sentences. I guess we could probably write it in the back here under the on the second page. We can just put our concerns down, and these are the reasons why, and submit it. We can do all that tonight. Rita, what do you think?
If that's what the commission wants to do, we can do that.
Yes, we can definitely suggest that. That would be part of the agenda item. That's fine. I do think that it's probably not going to take effect before this July. A lot of these, I've actually worked with charitable groups before in ordering fireworks. They probably already have their orders in. One thing that was discussed at length at the last council meeting was increasing the fines. Our office did a bit of research on that, and we are very limited in terms of how much we can increase the fines. But you would be talking about a fairly wholesale revision of the city's current fireworks ordinance. But that doesn't mean it's not something we could suggest for next year.
Oh, thank you very much. Comments? Anyone else wants to comment?
So, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I think she is right. It's a little late to make changes to the safe and sane for this year. However, we could make some recommendations, and that's what I'd like to, about how to educate and how to, that they should have some kind of educational, the step here, develop educational marketing material can be shared, but it says, inform the community about firework safety. So let's recommend a firework safety program for the safe and sane this year, and let's see if it works. They could develop quickly. It's very easy to do because it's on the labels, and the fireworks companies actually give it out. So let's put that in here for this year to have an educational program of how to safely put off safe and sane fireworks, and let it go at that for this year. And then change the subject matter to, at the very beginning, to say we're doing and we're recommending safe and sane changes also. That's my two things. So we could do tonight. Let's do it tonight and move on. Vote it in. Thank you.
Thank you. Rita, you had a comment?
I see Commissioner Isaiah Payne.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Rita. I'll speak after you.
Ms. Payne, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You can go ahead, Rita. I'll speak after you. Thank you.
No, go. Oh,
okay. No, I would prefer the commissioner to go.
Okay, thank you. I agree with Commissioner Coons. I think it's something that we can definitely need to do for the community at large. There's a lot of injuries that occur every year, very disheartening. I think for the sake of this letter, any changes that we do need to be minimal, but I do agree with the fact that we need to make our position known as it relates to educating our community about the safe release of illegal fireworks, but it is a huge concern of mine as well.
Thank you.
So I just uploaded the Word version. This might be easier to kind of go through if anyone has any specific sections and wording that you want me to add, I would appreciate that. So at the subject, you wanted to kind of elaborate on it. Is it correct that the commission wants to discontinue the Safe and Sane Fireworks program? Did I hear that correct?
Yes, but should we use the word recommendation? Recommend discontinuance of?
Do we want to recommend a discontinuance of, or do we want to recommend a further review of and study of the Safe and Sane Fireworks program?
Yes. I'm in support of that. This is Commissioner Payne.
And I would agree with saying something like modifying or educating or do some other word, the Safe and Sane Fireworks program. Let's modify the program in this letter, not discontinue. Modify it, review and modify. How about that?
Yes.
And for safety, educational practices, for better practices, for best practices, or some words like that.
Yes.
So review and modify?
Review and potentially modify. Possible.
And modify for safer practices.
Possibly
the Safe and Sane Fireworks program.
If I'm hearing the commission correctly, potentially implement a mailer or some other type of informational or educational program for the safe use of Safe and Sane Fireworks to the extent that the city wants to continue having them in the city.
You use the word mailer. Could you recommend something be put on the website?
Oh, that's definitely possible.
Okay.
And maybe mailer I was being I'm old school. I'm a paper person. So
me too.
Lana, we can add that to the bullet section on the next page. The thing about
yes, you can. Yes,
not to the subject, right?
Yes.
So is the subject
maybe,
okay?
Mr. Chair, and maybe mailing out, not email, but on the website, maybe even have the instructions given out at the fireworks stands. That was even better. That the instructions need to be read at the fireworks stand. They could be given out there on a sheet of paper, as well as in the community centers and stuff like that. Safer instructions. Maybe that would help. I don't know. There are already some instructions already at the fireworks stand. Maybe some additional places.
I don't know. I don't know what's given out at the fireworks stand other than what you purchased. I guess I don't know if the city could write up something and mandate that it be distributed. I'm sure they could.
It very well may require an ordinance change in order to make that enforceable.
Okay.
Yeah, enforcement is a difficult task.
Yep.
But what I meant is you give them something 2 paragraphs long about the safety and how to be safe and sane, and then have them sign it. It's a quick 5-minute thing. Any adult buying the fireworks, that's just an example of how I would do it, but it could be done other ways.
My question is mandating them to do it. And like you said, that probably would have to be an ordinance change, mandating someone.
Well, if they've read the notice, if they've read a notice, they've been notified the correct way. And if they sign it, then they said, I've read it, I've been notified. So there is some responsibility in signing off a document that they've read.
But what about
maybe not legally? I don't know. You talk to the city attorney there, but to me, that's some responsibility, even if it's ethical responsibility. or parental responsibility, whatever, but that's what I feel.
Well, that would mandate getting ID, having people sign things, and like the enforcement. It would almost be impossible in terms of someone enforcing that. If we're going to go through all that work and the people aren't mandated, I mean, there's no way to mandate that they read, sign, comply with. I don't know. I think personally doing that would be a wasted effort. And perhaps a costly one as you know, as relates to drawing the information up, doing all the printing and getting it distributed.
Mr. Chair, would there be some way to tap the sheriff department and the fire department and maybe ask them what they think might be helpful as far as dealing with this issue? I know I've talked to a lot of sheriffs and firemen, and I mean, they would love if we just stopped the fireworks altogether. And personally, I think the time has come to stop the Safe and Sane fireworks, but I know that there will be some pushback. But I think that other cities around us have made the ordinance, or I don't know exactly how they did it or how they came to that conclusion, but they obviously did it for some very good reasons. Perhaps we could tap some of them, since we're kind of already saying that we're not going to be able to have stuff in place for this 4th of July. But it seems like there are some keen minds out there that have a lot of experience with this. Perhaps they can help us with
it. Great point. Any other comments?
Mr. Chair,
let's go.
I recommend that the discontinuance of all fireworks in the city. We got a problem with drought and water problems coming. We just should discontinue the fireworks altogether. Sell legal and illegal fireworks.
Okay.
I think that could solve the problem. We try to figure out.
Oh, I concur.
I think the simple solution.
Yeah, I'm gonna Zoom. It's okay. I'm on.
Why don't we correct this letter to say just that? I don't know if we could maybe even do it in the second paragraph. Just put in this, our belief is, or our desire is, or we recommend that all safe and sane fireworks be discontinued or found illegal, and see what they say.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to say, for the last 30 years, this has been going back and forth with the nonprofits. Every city council seems to waffle at the end of the day, since I can remember. I think some of you remember this too, that they don't want to disrupt or mess with the nonprofits because that's their bread and butter for the year. And just to reiterate, I agree. Let's put a moratorium, or let's put it to a study where we're recommending the feasibility of discontinuing. And like Eliza said, other cities are doing it. Find out how they did it, and let's get busy on getting it done for next year, because I really think it's time, way overdue. I mean, the fireworks are beautiful and wouldn't be wrong, but we got Home Depot, we got Wilson Park, we got the oceans, we got all these beautiful places you could see them, and then we got them here in Carson, and the smoke and all the pollution is there for days. I hear in my house around here, the cars are all filthy. The streets are filthy. I mean, it takes about a month for things the trees are filthy. I'm one that would like to say, let's include what you just said, Commissioner Taylor, and that is, recommend a feasibility of discontinuing or, moratorium on safe and sane and the rest.
Sounds great. Can we pull the letter back up, please?
Yeah.
So the heading, the subject line.
So do you want to remove review and potentially modify to just discontinue?
I think that would be best. That would really make a statement.
Okay.
Discontinue the sale and use of safe and sane fireworks. Is that appropriate or? Let's see.
The Safe and Sane Fireworks program, it talks about a lot of things, so we can just keep it at discontinue the program.
All right.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Attorney Lane, go ahead.
Recommend reviewing the feasibility of potentially discontinuing the Safe and Sane Fireworks program. I've seen a lot of nodding heads, so please let me know if I'm stepping out of turn here.
Are you saying recommend
the feasibility of potentially discontinuing the Safe and Sane Fireworks program?
We're going to keep this in.
Back to potentially out.
Oh, I think we have to keep in the stuff about the illegal fireworks measure.
Yeah.
You might want to put the illegal first, and then recommendation of the discontinuing. Switch the order. That might work too.
Fine by me. Fine by me.
Do we want to use the word study as it relates to feasibility, or just recommend it? I mean, it's kind of recommend the feasibility of potential.
I would, if we have general around the room nodding heads who want to make it consider additional measures to deter illegal fireworks in the city of Carson, I think we're all good with that.
Absolutely.
And recommend the studying and the feasibility of potentially discontinuing Safe and Sane Fireworks program. I'm just trying to really capture what the commission's trying to say here.
Change studying the feasibility, not another and. Remove the and put the feasibility. That's it right there.
Okay.
Okay, it looks good to me.
I like that.
Do we have a general head nod going around?
We're saying and recommend studying the feasibility. Is that correct?
I was going to ask if we need the word potentially. It could just recommend studying or review the feasibility of discontinuing.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. I don't think we need potential.
Yes, right there.
Right. Yes, I agree.
Are we removing potentially? Is that?
Yes.
Can I see heads?
Yes.
Yes. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Nodding heads, nodding heads.
All right.
I like that.
And then the other thing I heard from the commission as part of what I'm guessing is going to be a friendly motion in second was to increase some sort of education program, or at least exploring increasing the educational outreach, even if it's with respect to Safe and Sane Fireworks.
Yes.
Am I correct there?
You are.
I'm just trying to capture your.
But I'm wondering, should that bullet point be a little bit higher in the hierarchy of what's listed there?
We can do that.
There you go. Thank you.
Is everybody okay with explore and develop educational marketing material?
Yes.
Yes.
I see more heads nodding.
Yes.
Can we put a space in between the bullet points?
Yes.
That's just me. I'm sorry, but you know. Okay, thank you. Okay. Question, where are the fines now? We're at $500 or $1,000, right?
1,000.
1,000.
1,000, okay, all right.
Maybe, Mr. Chair and team here, we could, at the very end where, the respectfully ask the city council, we could also bring up Lenore's project point that is, we look forward to response, appreciate your time and attention, and we are willing to readdress the ad hoc committee, or let's reactivate the ad hoc committee.
Do you want
That was a good point.
Is there nodding heads to maybe add it here as a bullet point to reactivate the ad hoc committee on fireworks as one of the measures?
Yeah, it's a bullet point. I agree with that bullet point.
So first of all, the council ad hoc committee, is that the council subcommittee on fireworks?
It is a subcommittee, and actually I would change it to reactivate a council ad hoc committee because the prior committee's already gone.
So would you say council subcommittee or council ad hoc committee?
It could go either way. I mean, in normal day parlance, we call it an ad hoc committee. It's kind of a term of art.
Okay.
But it really is the same thing as a subcommittee.
On back to number one, if we could in number one, I would like to mention it and the dangers of illegal fireworks, but it doesn't say to educate about legal fireworks or safe and sane, as we call them. So I would like to put that in there somewhere, if you could help us with that, Madam City Attorney.
Yep, I'm fine with that. Do I see nodding heads? Nodding heads.
You do.
Are you good with this little addition?
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, absolutely, yeah. Put a period at the end.
Oh, and firework is plural. Community about firework safety. It should be fireworks safety.
We'll get this. We'll get this all cleaned up. But we're just
right. You got it. She got it.
Okay.
She saw where I was. That looks good now. I like that.
On item number 2, penalties have already been increased, right? On bullet number 2?
Correct.
So is there a need for it?
Yes. They need to double them again.
No, but
you can't. It's illegal.
There's some real limitations there. If we were to go through the fine issue again, that is going to be an issue of further legal analysis and exploration of increasing the fines and penalties. Because right now, $1,000, now I did send staff a legal analysis about this issue. Really, right now, $1,000 is the safe harbor that we think we can charge, especially if you're talking about illegal fireworks and certainly not safe and sane fireworks. So the fines and penalties, very complicated legal issue. At the very least, we probably don't want to recommend increasing the fines and penalties. If possible is good, but maybe explore further increasing penalties and fines if possible for all offenses.
Okay.
Do I see nodding heads on that?
Can I ask a question? Isn't there a maximum set for city ordinances as relates to fines?
There is for city ordinances in general, but there's actually, and I did not know this until recently, there is actually a California state fireworks law, which very specifically sets fine limits. And it's based upon how many pounds of dangerous fireworks you have. It does not apply to safe and sane fireworks. It applies to non-safe and sane fireworks. Again, it's by pound. So you can't just kind of across the board increase the fines to, you know, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. You can't do that. There are definite parameters. They're not simple. They're not black and white. That would take some definite, if we were to revise our ordinance along those lines, it would take some definite development.
Okay.
Could I ask, how about for second and third offenses?
Okay.
Is it still 1,000? Or does it go up?
It's in addition to the first offense.
It does go up, but that in particular, that is with respect to non-safe and sane fireworks.
Right, illegal.
Right.
The fines go higher. Okay.
All right. Under the bullet points, any more suggestions? Okay. If there's no suggestions, I'll entertain a motion to accept the letter. Let's move it forward.
Okay, so let's just make the motion clear. We're going to send a recommendation to the council to take this letter, resend it to them with the amendments that have been made here, which is to consider additional measures to deter illegal fireworks in the city. That stays the same. But we're also recommending the feasibility and the studying and feasibility of discontinuing the safe and sane fireworks ordinance program. And also implementing an educational program. So those are the three, and reactivating a council ad hoc committee to specifically look at the fireworks issues. That's actually 4 issues that would be part of your motion. Do you agree?
Should we designate the last, reactivate the ad hoc committee? Should we say on, well, never mind. I was gonna say safe and sane fireworks to be.
No, because I think the prior subcommittee was for all fireworks anyway.
All fireworks, okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept this draft so we can move it forward.
I move that we accept this draft. It's Roy Love.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Is there a second?
Commissioner Hobson, second.
Ms. Hobson, second. Any further discussion? Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Okay. Commissioner Isaiah Payne. Commissioner Freeman Watkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Hurry Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Lillian Hobson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rick Polito.
Yes.
Commissioner William Coons.
Aye.
Commissioner Roy Lev.
Aye.
Commissioner Brianna Fonteno.
Aye.
Alternate Celia Valapondo.
Aye.
Okay.
I see Commissioner Isaiah Payne has unmuted. Did you want to vote?
Yes.
And Commissioner Angela Isaiah Payne, yes?
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes anonymously.
Thank you.
Unanimously, sorry.
All right, next item under item 8, new business, would be California Fair Political Practice Commission AB 1234 training. Attorney Lyman.
Yep, so this item should be very simple. And plus then I don't have to torture you poor folks with my horrible voice. There is, as commissioners who are appointed, you are required to, within the first year of your appointment to your commission, you're required to take what we call AB 1234 or 1234 training. It has to do with ethical standards in terms of conflicts of interest and, you know, avoiding things like bribery and other nasty things. And it's free. So we've provided to you here, and perhaps city staff can send you the direct links if you can't get them from your agenda package. The link to the California FPPC website is here in the staff report. The link to the actual local ethics training for local officers such as yourself is also right there. If you go to the FPPC website, make sure you do not take the training for state officials, but the training for the local officials. It's about 2 hours. You can take it on your own time. So, you know, you can do the training at your own pace, at your own time. You can't hurry up through it. They do kind of put a stop to you to make sure that you're getting the full 2 hours of training. But you know, you can be there and you can have, you know, your pizza or your sandwich at your own schedule, at your own time. There is a certificate at the end that you need to print out, sign, and we request that you provide that to the city clerk's office so that we have a record of it. And you're gonna have to do this every 2 years. That's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward.
I'm gonna reshare my screen so you can see it. So when you click on this first link, it'll take you to the website, just the general website with all the information. Oh, now it's slow.
Maybe.
Okay,
or
here.
Not.
And then this one is for state officials. Don't do that one. You want to go to the one for local. It's here. And that you can go on this link, and it's also on the staff report. So you can click on that, and this takes you to the, right here, it's local training, local ethics training. And you have to create a login, create an account, and then you'll go through the motions. And then at the end, you'll get a certificate. And that certificate should be, a copy of that should be given to the city clerk.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, my question is, I took this course on January the 11th, and I gave my certificate to the Carson city clerk. Of course, I wasn't sworn in on this commission until about, what, maybe 2 months later. So I'm wondering, do I have to take it again? Since really it's the same course I've just taken on January the 11th of this year, and the city clerk has a copy, and if necessary, I can provide one for someone else. However, I did take it as a member of the Metro Service Council. So I'm asking council, do I have to take it over? Or
no,
what?
no.
Okay.
If you serve on multiple commissions and you have already done the training course, You don't need to do it every single time for every single commission. You only need to do it once. Just do provide your certificate that you received for the other commission that you did the training for. Provide that to the city clerk's office so that we have a record of it. We can maybe add a note that you're also that this also provides for your AB 1234 training for this commission.
Good, thanks. I've already given it to her, so.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you.
Next item. Item number 9, if we're completed with 8, commission members request to add items to future agendas. What I would like to do is, well, first of all, let me say this. We already have a future item list. I want to give every commissioner an opportunity to speak. So I'm requesting that you pick one thing that you want to add on the future agenda if it's not already here. And so we can get input from everyone. Is that in agreement with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, who wants to be first? Now, we already have these items scheduled for future agendas. So we can pick a couple that we think that we can get, staff can get the information that's needed for the next meeting. I know we can't do all 6, but there may even be something new. So again, I'm asking. Yes, ma'am.
Well, this is more in the form of a question. It's related to the update on the Dominguez channel. It's come to our attention, given the role that the Art Naturals business played with the Dominguez channel crisis. It's come to our attention that the hand sanitizer that's loaded with the benzene is still being sold in the city of Carson. So I'm wondering, is there anything that can be done with that? Is that beyond the city's purview at this point, as far as controlling that? It poses a health and safety issue for people using it. Benzene's a cancer-causing chemical, but I'm just wondering at this point, given that it played such a big role in the channel crisis, if many businesses, I went to the discount store on Avalon. I went actually just to go buy some bungees, nothing else. But when I got home, there were several bottles of the hand sanitizer in my bag. And I don't know if they put them in there by mistake or what. It wasn't on, they don't have an itemized receipt, but other people are noticing that there are many businesses in Carson that are still either selling that particular hand sanitizer, and people are beginning to question the advisability of that.
Okay, what's the name of the product again?
It's the hand sanitizer by Art Naturals. Art Natural. That was one of the companies that is in Gardena, where the fire was, where all of that poured into the storm drain.
Do you think this is something that should come under? We're going to need, obviously, we need perhaps some immediate action. Shouldn't that be something that the health department deals with?
Well, I'm asking what I would think that would be an issue, because there is a lot of media attention right now in the role that benzene is playing in causing increased cases of cancer. So that's in itself is pretty important, but it is also, it's related to the Dominguez channel, because that was cited as one of the reasons why that whole situation turned out the way that it did. So, and if we can defer to, I don't know what this would be, public safety, but I'm putting it out there because I think it's related to the Dominguez channel.
Rita, how quick can we get this information to the responsible departments in the city?
Oh, we can work with staff. Staff can powwow later and figure out what steps, if any, we can take and who should be handling this.
Okay, is it feasible refer it to the health department? I mean, it seems like they would have some type of jurisdiction.
We'll look into it, and then we can send an email once we have some information. We'll send an email to the commission.
Thank you. Ms. Valapando, is that okay with you?
That's fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next person, next commissioner.
I'll go next. The citywide tree update, I just don't want an update. I want an expert or a person to say grants and this and that. We want it to be a planning program, not just an update. So connect it with beautification and climate change and other things. So that's what I'd like. I'd like that just to be reworded a little bit, if I could.
Okay, well, I guess we can change.
My recommendation is to have somebody like the city's manager of trees and planting and all that. He's the I don't know, director, but he's the general manager of tree planting is Greg McDonald. If you want to put a name there, maybe he would be the guy to come in and talk about what's available and how we can go about planting trees in the city.
Okay, why do we have staff look at the feasibility of getting a hold of this gentleman and seeing can you make some kind of presentation to us?
I have his number if you want it.
Okay, you can get. Do you have it now?
I got to look it up.
Okay.
We have Mr. McDonald's information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. But he would be someone I think would be good to speak on that.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Polito, your turn, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would like to add an actual, on the last, invite local environmental groups to present on top issues. I'd like to put down one that I spoke with the executive director. His name is Jesse Marquez from Coalition for Safe Environment. I could get the staff the information if they don't have his info, but I meet with him quite a bit, and he would love to give an update on all the stuff that's going on with some of the environmental laws, some of the stuff happening within our midst here in the South Bay, specifically in Carson. I'd like to give an update on some of the projects that are being right now worked on. That from his view as a coalition director of environment, he's very well versed on this. He's done presentations in city council. They look for him for advice. And I just would like to have the Coalition for Safe Environment come in and do a presentation and a PowerPoint, and he'll give a nice breakdown, a synopsis of what's from the coalition's view, from the community here of Carson, what needs to be done and what could be done, and how we should be more effective in our struggle here for environmental justice in the city of Carson.
Thank you. He's made a presentation or two to previous commissions, so I've seen his presentations. They're excellent. So
yeah, thank you. And he'll do something on the 157 acres, which we're working on as we speak.
Okay, thank you. Next commissioner.
So Rita, can you put in under there like a sub bullet point for a request for a presentation from that commission?
I have it on my notes, on my paper notes.
Got it, thank you.
For the next one. And then Chair Polito, if you don't mind sending me his contact information so we can reach out to him.
I'll get you that. We'll do, Rita.
I see Commissioner Isaiah Payne.
Hi, I just wanted to piggyback on the citywide tree update. Is there any way, I know we talked about it prior to this meeting on some of the previous meetings. I'd like to know who is responsible for the funding and where is the funding coming from. If we can identify the funding source before we begin the process of determining if we're going to make that recommendation. Where is those funds coming from?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, for me, I had the opportunity last week along with Mr. Polito to tour, I hope I get this right, the joint water, help me, Mr. Polito, I'm JC.
Yeah, LA County Sanitation District Joint Water Pollution Board.
There you go, thank you. Don't have my notes with me. It was a really, if you didn't go, I highly recommend it. It was an excellent tour. Took about an hour and a half. The facility happens to be in the city of Carson, and it is really amazing what they're doing with wastewater. So I would recommend that we really, even a short presentation would be excellent if they could give us a presentation. But if you haven't, you need to take that tour. And thanks staff for setting it up for it. It was really, really eye-opening as it relates to wastewater, water, and the whole bit. So if we could add that on to our future items list, I really would appreciate it.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Both Freeman and I attended that tour 2 weeks ago, and we too enjoyed it. It was very educational. Very much so, very informative. So I really recommend it. If you didn't go, you get the opportunity to go. It's really, really excellent. And some of the things the Metropolitan Water Department is doing in terms of water and waste, it's just very, very interesting, it really is. And it's going to have an impact on us. So I recommend that you take the opportunity to go if you can. Any more comments? I'll get with staff and we'll decide what we can do as it relates to these items and what can we get done before the next environmental commission meeting in terms of putting something on the agenda. So does anyone want to clarify any of these items right quick? Or is it sufficient for now? Okay, we'll go on to the next item, number 10, commission members' oral communications. Would you please limit your comments to 2 minutes? Thank you. Who's first? Well, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
I second that.
We all vote on it, absolutely. Thank you. Next, Mr. Coons, you have comments?
Yeah, I have a concern about objects and items like on the council agenda, item 31 yesterday, they were talking about an item related to the Inland Star case, which we were heavily involved in. In fact, we were one of the originators of it. And this has to do with CalArt materials and the materials and how the code and how the ordinances of the city treat the warehousing and all the other aspects in the city of Carson. And this did not come to us along with many other things in the past that don't come to us as a commission. They go to planning, they go to the city council and they approve or disapprove it and away they go. And yet we don't get to review and comment and advise like we're supposed to the city council. And this was item 31 on the agenda. CalArt materials are the dangerous materials that are stored, and if the container breaks open, just the fumes alone can kill you. It doesn't have to be a fire or other things. And within a mile and whatever the wind is blowing, dangerous, especially if it's in quantity. So this was done, did not come to our commission, it went to planning, and again, it dates back to Inland Stars when they started to do it. So I would like to, and there's other things, the water shortage, other things are not coming to this commission. They're going usually directly to the city council. It's happened in the past, it's going to continue to happen. So I would like to see us, maybe Eliza Jane can work this. Things that are related to the environment should come to us first and then go to the city council. Go to planning, go to us, it doesn't matter. we'd like to have some say in what advice we give to the council. And that is the best way to do it. And if we don't get in it in advance, we can't do that.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, next commissioner for input. Mr. Polito.
Thank you. Again, happy Mother's Day and happy Grandma's Day. Happy Great Grandma's Day to all your moms, because like my mom used to tell me, without us, you guys wouldn't be here. So I take my hat off to all the moms out there and moms to be. Also, I want to report out, I went to Cinco de Mayo. Excellent, excellent event. You know, Cinco de Mayo is the longest citywide event in the city of Carson. For everybody that doesn't know that, we are the longest continuous citywide event in the city of Carson. So please note it in my comments in the minutes. And what I mean by that is we had a huge turnout, beautiful ambience, food, music, dance, boxing, and you know, the lowrider show. I'm a collector myself, and I was so happy to see hundreds of cars out there, folks just having a great time. No incidents that I know of. Sheriff were not present to be seen, but they, I'm sure, were around. Just a great family day, and I have to take my hat out to all the staff, to Christina and her team out there, Carson, my home park, and tell you that if you didn't get by there, see it on TV, I'm sure they're gonna have to put that, because that's one of the best events I've seen all year. Also, Earth Day, I went to Earth Day. I know we talked about it. It was a great turnout. It wasn't huge, but it was family fun. And Mike and the team out there did an excellent job with Anderson's Park with Earth Day. I did a little painting with Bill Coons and his wife, and I walked around and they were giving out little potting plants. My granddaughter took one, and you know, that's what we want to see, is the Mother Earth being protected here, and by Carson staff and by our city acknowledging the environmental justice that is needed here in our city. So I want to take my hats off there and tell you it was well done. Congratulations. Lastly, again, if Eliza's not going to be able to do a director's report like we would hope in the future, because we have questions, like Bill brought up good points on what's going on, what they share at city council, what they should be sharing with us. It should come through our commission. Anything environmental, any impact, anything, should let us review or at least see it out of courtesy. We are the most active, commission here, if you will, in Carson. And on that note, if she can't do it, maybe Rita or, you know, somebody in staff could give us the updates, upcoming stuff that I said earlier, to be sure that we get a report from our directors. That's very important, to know what's going on in our department, to know what's going on with the stuff that I brought up earlier. I'm not going to reiterate it. I've said it every month since I've been here. And I think you know, that would be very useful for us, and that would help us in our discussions and knowing where we're going with our city in our future here. So with that said, I too thank you, Commissioner Taylor. We had a blast, man. The LA sanitation was cool. Great presentation when they bring it over here to the city.
Chair Polito, that's 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, and God bless you, and appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? I personally don't have any comments, so we'll move to item number 11, staff oral communications.
I don't have any. Jessica, wanna?
Just a reminder to submit your pay authorization forms. I just emailed them during this meeting, so you guys will be seeing them in your email. You guys can drop them off to City Hall now. We're open, so you could drop at the counter, at the engineering counter to me, and I can turn them in and submit them for you guys. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lastly, Attorney Lehman, did you have anything else?
No, nothing from me.
Okay, thank you.
And Eliza Jane, I don't have anything either.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you staff for your wonderful work. I appreciate it. Motion to adjourn, item number 12.
I so move.
Second. Before we leave, our next meeting is June the 1st. Okay. At 6:30. Thank you all so very, very much. And everybody have a wonderful rest of the week.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Take care. God bless Carson.